And then I told her, Shoma Kiji, which means excuse me in Hindi. And she looked at me and she goes, you speak Hindi? I said, yes. She said, how do you know Hindi? I said, well, I used to be Indian and I was killed in a train crash in Bombay. And I woke up a black man in America and she died laughing.
Kennedy, 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 Kennedy.
All right, what is up, guys? Welcome to the third episode of the Brushwork Podcast. This is a podcast created for the brush workers. The goal for this project, or this podcast, is very simple. We are a good-sized painting company made up of good people. This podcast will showcase these good people and help us learn, more about the guys and girls we work with day in and day out. And also maybe, hopefully this podcast could be helpful to maybe newer people in the company, kind of getting an idea of, hearing these guys talk that have painted for 3, 4, 5, 10 years, kind of seeing what the painting life is like here at Kennedy Painting. But without further ado, let's get to our guest this morning. Anthony, would you please introduce yourself?
I think you just did.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm Anthony Wortham, and I'm a lead painter here at Kennedy Painting.
Okay, well, perfect. How long, let's right off, how long have you been painting?
About 4.5 years. I'm actually going into my 5th year, so I'm guessing October will be year 5 for me.
Okay. How did you hear about Kennedy?
Actually, I worked at Leicester Painting, which was the first actual painting company I worked for, and they subsequently closed their doors, and the owner of that company gave Sean all of his lead painters' information, and Andy called me one day and was like, hey, your boss gave us your name and information. Can you come in and, and I was actually doing a side job for, who was that? The guy who owns Pearl Vodka. I forgot their last name.
Oh, okay.
But I was painting their house. I'm like, when I get done, I'll come in. And I came in, and the rest is history.
Huh. Well, perfect. Yeah. I actually went through the boot camp with you.
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember.
That was quite a few summers ago.
Yep.
But, yeah, I went through the boot camp with you and Calvin, I think, at the same time. And you guys were funny. But, yeah, we'll probably kind of swing back around to that maybe towards the end,
right.
kind of just what led up to you getting to that, or we'll see how it goes.
Right.
But first off, what are your responsibilities here at Kennedy Painting?
Pretty much to be the support of Rick, my crew leader, with the staff as far as our other coworkers, as far as ordering paint and whatever he don't get to, we have to get to. Just basically being his right arm, and doing what I can to promote the crew and promote our jobs.
Yeah. And then you work primarily with Rick and on his crew, right?
Primarily, but I've also worked with a few other painters since I've been here. Mike Daniels, I've worked with him before. Okay. I think other than Rick, he's probably been the longest person I actually worked under, but I think I was there in support because they had lost a few employees or somebody was out for maternity leave or something, and I just filled in. So
yeah, how do you like working with Rick? Rick is actually the longest, has the longest or the most amount of time here at Kennedy Painting.
Rick is awesome. What I like about him is the things that him and Sean did initially before they got to these two buildings. Previous. Rick's been there from the beginning.
Yeah, and
the way he taught myself and Calvin was the way that him and Sean did it. So we do it the way that Rick does it and the way Sean and him did it. So we try to, keep that integrity going on so that people are getting Kennedy painting as opposed to Anthony's painting or, But, yeah, I like him. He's like my brother.
Yeah, awesome. Think there's any chance I'd love to get him in here for the podcast, but think there's any chance we could eventually get him in here?
Probably not. Rick he's a wonderful guy, but being personable on the mic and, that's not him.
Yeah.
He's never getting a record deal. Let's just say that.
We're still gonna try. So Rick, if you're listening to this, we're coming for you.
Right. Check the canopy.
Yeah. Well, hey, you just kind of mentioned a record deal, and I wanted to bring this up, give you a little, give a little shout out to your channel. But you sent me a video about like a week ago. You had done like some artwork, and then you mixed the sound
Right.
yourself, right? Okay. And what was that? What was that YouTube channel called?
It was actually called Best Ever Hip Hop Mural. I believe I did it about 2 years ago, and I put a mural in my basement, one of old school hip hop, and I did another one of like Motown and singers from that era, when I grew up. And the music, I actually call it Japanese pimping, because that's what it sounds like to me. Some Japanese pimping.
How'd you come up with that?
I don't know. I was just listening to it, and with the different stringed instruments I had in the background, it just sounded Asian.
Japanese pimping, a whole new.
So yeah, actually, I made that beat up in like 2000, and I kept tweaking it for like a year before I got it to sound the way I wanted it to sound. And finally, let me do a YouTube video. Everybody else is doing one, so I did that, and it worked out.
Are you still doing any type of music at all?
Yes, I record a lot when I'm not painting, and I've been recording probably since '88. I've been recording music.
Huh.
So let's just say if I were to get a record deal as a producer today, I would never have to make up any music for the next 15 years.
You just got it all on file?
I just pull all that stuff out and one by one. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go.
That's pretty cool. What do you use to record the music? Are you like making it on a computer? Are you physical instruments? I have no idea how that
do
even
both.
works.
It depends on the track I'm doing. Some of it I use Fruity Loops, which is a computer-based beat program. I have track recorders. I have a synthesizer. I can play some wind instruments, and it just depends. I've used the PlayStation. I've used a Super Nintendo before to get sound effects off of it, so it just varies. Whatever I need to do to get that sound out there. Cassette decks and looping sounds, whatever it takes,
Huh, that's cool. The music in the video was a cool part. Not gonna lie though, like what truly like caught my attention was the art and like how real and stuff the mural was, like how real the faces were.
Right.
I almost didn't believe that was you for a second.
Yeah, I've been drawing since I was I'm gonna say second grade, but I've been selling my art since second grade as well.
Really?
Yeah, I used to, the recycled manila paper you used. Well, you probably didn't because you're a little younger than me, but we had this plain recycled paper that we used to do math on. It was like half a sheet, and so I used to fold those in half, write the story at the top or at the bottom, and then draw a picture of it at the top, and staple the center of it. And then I go out on recess and sell them for $0.25.
Really?
And so I did that every day.
Huh.
So as a result, my artwork just progressively gotten better. So
I have this thing that like people who can draw, I've always wondered, is it really something you had to learn, or were you just pretty much gifted right out the bat? I cannot touch pencil to paper and come up with anything better than.
I think for most artists are born with the gift of art, but I personally believe everybody is an artist. I believe anybody can be taught how to draw.
Really?
People who don't typically draw say they can't draw because if I say, here, draw this apple, you're going to draw that apple the way you think in your brain it looks, as opposed to drawing what you see. And it's all an illusion. You have to, like, look at Bob Ross when he paints trees.
Yeah.
He does it in seconds, and he just dabs on the canvas, but it looks like a tree.
Yeah.
Because your brain's telling you, hey, that's a tree. I believe that, look at Van Gogh. I mean, his work isn't the greatest compared to, say, Leonardo da Vinci. Mm-hmm. But people claim art's in the eye of the beholder. Mm-hmm. And that's the whole thing. Just because you don't think it's art, somebody else may.
Yeah.
We have animals, elephants and stuff, doing the art pictures now, getting $20,000 and $30,000. Now that's ridiculous. When a human can do a lot better because of our perception.
Yeah.
So I believe anybody can draw, though.
Huh. If I ever was an artist, I'd probably just be more of like the drill holes in the paint can and let it swing over the canvas.
I want to do that too.
I feel like everybody could do that and be, semi-successful.
Right. I can show you easily 10 different techniques that'll make you an excellent painter just off the bat, just by doing small little things and it would baffle you how easy it is. You know, drawing portraits is a little bit more detail oriented, and I didn't actually start doing that till I'm gonna guess the summer of 8th grade. I don't remember what I did, but I got in trouble, so I had to be grounded during the summer, and so I had a bunch of comic books. So while I was on that punishment, I think I was on a punishment for like a month or something. Couldn't go outside.
Ooh, that's rough over the
Yeah,
summer.
well, it was rough for the first few days.
Yeah.
But I read all the comic books that I had, and I probably had 100. And then I just started methodically drawing some of the people, and then I started paying attention to the faces. Then next thing you know, I'd drawn like a Michael Jackson picture. I'd drawn Prince. Who else was popping at that time? Boy George, Bill Cosby, you know, before the trials, you know, that kind of thing. And yeah, that's what did it for me.
Huh.
And then by the time I got to my freshman year, I was already an established artist, and I was probably one of the better artists in my school my freshman year. So I was like, hey, they want these pictures. So I just started selling them, and
Man, out there working.
I have to.
I've had customers ask us before, you know, hey, can you guys, you know, I know you do painting, but can you do a mural on this wall? We're always like, no,
Should have called me.
It's not our thing. Can I just start bidding some of those jobs out
Of
for you?
course. Well, seems like you don't know how to bid because you don't know how long it's going to take you to do it.
Easy.
But yeah, it depends on, when you're doing something like that, it depends on the space, depends on the texture of the wall. I've done a Cardinals mural for a bar, and they had stucco on the wall. But the stucco had wooden borders around it. Excuse me. So I think it was like 99 inches by, what was it? 99 by 100 and something. So what I did was I measured it, and I cut drywall to that shape, and then I taped and mudded it to get it to be the exact size, primed it with some ceiling paint, and then I drew on that. And then I, you know, painted in, colored it in, and then when I got done, I just liquid nailed the back of it and inserted that into the wall.
Oh,
And then at 270 in Manchester, there used to be a place called Zydeco Blues about, I'm going to say 5 years ago. I did a blues mural, you know, blues singers.
Yeah.
And that was just on the flat wall, and it was probably like, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 feet long. But Dave Glover actually came in, if you know who he is, talk shows. He came in one day while I was there eating lunch, and he's like, oh, that looks like a portrait or a photograph. Did you do that? I'm like, yeah. And he goes, man, you're all real good. Invited me over to his table, him and Glenn Coast. And we sat there, and they paid for my meal, even though I'd already ordered. He goes, you ought to come down and do a segment on the show. What are you doing tomorrow? I'm at your show. So I went down there, and we were on the air for like 20 minutes. But
That's awesome.
I thought that was pretty cool. A guy who does art.
That's awesome. Did you pick up any like business or anything off of that?
Actually, I did.
Radio time?
I did a few portraits. I did a guitar with what's that guy's name? Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah.
I did a guitar of him, and that was pretty much it. And a bunch of portraits. But yeah, I got a lot of business.
So
from
let's kind of. I think this would be simple, but let's keep it simple. Let's just say, we're doing a Cardinals mural. Maybe we'll even go kind of like, you know, just the bat, 2 Cardinals. Let's say like.
That's not a mural though, but.
What would that be?
It's just a picture of 2 Cardinals and a bat.
Is there a difference between a mural and a?
Well, yeah, a mural has stuff on it, has substance. You know?
Mural's the whole thing.
Right.
Oh,
I wouldn't call it just
you see how much I know.
Right, but I'm just saying you don't want to call, like, if I paint a chair and, you know, your grandma sitting there, that's not necessarily a mural, it's a portrait. But if I have a bunch of different
just not
things
good
on
enough
there,
for you,
you know,
okay.
right. I
Okay,
prefer to do portrait.
so portrait. Let's just say you have a big, you know, 6 by, let's just say like, 6 by 6 or something like that. I don't know. About how long would that take?
And see, once again, depends on how big I have to draw. It depends on how much stuff you want in. Like when I did my first one in my basement, I did the one with all the Motown singers and all them people on it. It took me a month and a half to do that one, but I wasn't doing it every day, and I drew the pictures kind of big.
Yeah.
But when I did the hip hop mural that you saw, that one took me 6 months. And I would do things like wake up in the middle of the night, because we didn't have, maybe it was an ice storm and we didn't have to work the next day. I wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, can't go back to sleep, so I just go out there and start drawing on the wall a little bit, maybe put 8, 9 faces on it. And then I wouldn't touch it for a few days, and I go back and put 2 or 3, and I go back again. But it was a puzzle because all these artists that I had to put on there, I didn't know where I was going to put them.
Yeah.
And I didn't decide until I was putting them on the wall. So depending on the way their face is turned or their head is shaped or,
Yeah, I watched
use
as the
that.
video went on, the spaces became fewer and fewer, and some kind of like edged over into others. and
Yep.
What do you think a portrait would take, though? Like just
portrait?
a single portrait, kind of a let's maybe say 6x4 if we're talking about the Cardinals thing.
If I do just a portrait, typically I either do them, 18 by 24 or 24 by 36 or 16 by 20. And I can generally get one done in a couple of days. I have done one in a few hours. A friend of mine, her dad had died.
Oh, really?
And I was over at their house offering my condolences. And somebody brought up a picture of him that she had. And I looked at it and I go, I can do that. So I didn't say anything, but I left and went home and just got on it. And 3 hours later, I was back at their house dropping it off. She goes, you just did that? I'm like, yeah, I just did it a few minutes ago. I've just finished. It was still a little bit wet, but I did it because I liked her dad, and she was a nice little girl, so, I wanted to offer something.
That's cool. Well, awesome. That was a good little, kind of dive off there. Where are you originally from?
Here, St. Louis.
St. Louis, born here in St. Louis?
Yep, I was born and raised in St. Louis. I was born on a street called Theodosia, which is not a savory area now. But back when I was born, in the Stone Age, it was a nice place to be. And then I spent most of my time on the south side of St. Louis.
Lauren was born here in St. Louis as well. One thing I forgot to ask her was, have you ever been outside of St. Louis? You ever moved away, came back, and like that? Always here?
No, I've been in a lot of places. I've been in like 37 states and like 6 countries. And when I was in the Air Force, I traveled a little bit, and I stayed in the Philippines 2 years. And that's probably the best place or most fun place I've ever been, just because of the people, the environment. It was summer all year round. I came back here like 5 shades. I was almost tricorn black, when I got back.
A good
and it
Sherwin
took me,
color.
right, and I wore a beret as well, so it took me like 2.5 years to get my skin to be evenly complected, because where I had the beret, everything under that was completely dark. Everything under the beret was light.
Really?
So it took me forever to get those colors to like blend back in. It was funny.
You got to be like one of the most experienced person. Every time I talk to you, it's like something different. I didn't even know that you did artist stuff.
Maybe
Literally
it's 'cause
until
I'm
last week.
old, and I've
Could be. Every time
I
I
had
see
a
him,
few
just
summers to do stuff. So, but yeah, I enjoy traveling. I just wish we weren't going through this COVID thing now, because there's a bunch of places I want to go, and it seems like it's hindering us because you gotta do your quarantining period and all that. I'm just waiting for it to be over.
let's just follow the trend and make the rest of this podcast about COVID. So.
Okay, you want to do that?
What was okay, let's go. So I kind of asked you a little bit earlier how you found out about Kennedy, but let's go way back. So what was your very first paid job?
I was a paperboy.
Really? Like a real
Yes.
a real paperboy?
When I was 12 years old.
Really?
And actually it was 81, and I did it all the way up until we had the blizzard of 82.
Really?
Yeah, I woke up and I looked outside and I go, I quit. And my mom was laughing. She goes, fool, they're not going to do it. Nobody can go anywhere. So they're not delivering you any papers, and they're not expecting you to go out in this because snow is pretty deep. So I guess if you want to call a physical job, it would have been that.
I guess, like that, does that even exist anymore? Or are there still
I don't
paper
know.
boys?
Not in that respect, because we went door to door. I had a route of customers that I had to go through Monday through Saturday. And then Sunday is the day I collected the money, and I had to carry that big box with the wheels on it. So I had to coerce some of my friends to go with me because it was a lot of papers, and I didn't want to do it by myself. Like, I'll buy you some candy if you go with me. Okay. And so I walked one, two. I had like 15 different blocks that I had to go up and down. And I knock on the people's door on Sunday and give them their Sunday paper and get the money for the week and keep it moving.
Really?
But yeah, I was 12 years old when I did that. It was fun.
Huh? I guess I might be the last generation of the true paper boy.
Right. I'm pretty sure I was probably one of them.
What about from there? What is, not every single job you had, but what was kind of the next big, big steady job?
Well, it's kind of funny. I guess when I was 15, I joined this organization called Project 80s, which was targeted to give the youth something to do in their communities as opposed to just hanging out over the summer. And we did door-to-door sales. And we went all over St. Louis. We sold jewelry cleaner. We sold candy. We sold organic cleaners. We sold a bunch of different stuff. So you get a box with like 25 items in it. And then you and your friend, he'd be on one side of the street, you'd be on the other, and you go door to door. So that's why I learned the law of averages. 18 out of 20 people are going to say no.
Yeah.
And so we went to every house together, and we already had the notion in our head they were going to say no.
Yeah.
So we just acted out skits and told jokes at every house. As a result, we had more positive feedback and more people bought stuff.
Huh.
So
was it like a little competition by the end of the street? Like,
right, but it
look
was
over at
only
your buddy. Hey, how much?
No,
what
me
you
and
still
my
got
buddy,
left?
we were together.
Oh, okay,
No,
you
we
guys
did ours.
really-
We did ours as a unit, but as a result, I got a lot of customer service experience early, and I understood the concept of getting your customer or leading your customer into what they want. 'Cause sometimes people don't know what they want. Most of the time they go to a restaurant, they don't know what they want.
Yeah.
Really. They're looking for specials. They want you to kind of guide them.
Yeah.
Just like with Kennedy, sometimes when people tell you, hey, I want you to paint this wall, we want it in flat. And you go, flat's not going to, you have kids, you probably want to do a satin or, if it's something that's going to get beat up a lot, you probably want to use like an eggshell or something. You have to
Yeah,
guide
no, that's true.
them
The
and tell them.
customer, what they truly want is a good outcome. You know what I
Right.
mean? And sometimes, just by not knowing, maybe they're asking for something that's not going to be a great outcome.
Exactly. So you have to lead them. And sometimes, like I said about restaurants, same thing. You go in there, you're looking around, oh, what do I want? What do I want? And they'll say, hey, we have a special today, cheeseburger and fries, bison meat. And you're like, oh, well, maybe I'll try that, And that's how specials work overall.
Yeah.
You have to convince the people that's what they want. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was quick right off the bat with the bison meat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well that was good. I tell you what. So now is the time. I think you've listened to one of the podcasts, right? It's
I've listened to Nick's, yes.
quite the span of time. It's just busy and things. But
Right.
now is the time for random questions. So let me pull up this list here. All right. So you have in between 1 and I believe it's 166. Yeah. You can pick any number out of there. Go for it.
1.
All right, 1. Right off the bat. Okay. Well, here we go. Do you fold your pizza when you eat it?
Depends on the type of pizza.
That's fair.
Because if
That
I'm
is
eating
more than
Emos,
fair.
of course not.
Yeah.
But if it's Domino's or,
Yeah. Have you ever heard the level of disrespect some people give Emo's Pizza? It is unreal.
No, not really, but I like it because it's St. Louis. It's not what it used to be,
Yeah.
but it's still good. So,
Man, I think it's amazing, and it's like people that come here and they're not. It is totally different style
Right.
of pizza.
right.
And maybe that's why I like it so much. But people that come here and try it, they just sometimes are not big fans of it. Do you ever watch like Barstool Sports? You ever heard of like Dave Portney?
I've watched it, I'm going to say once.
He does. So he does like pizza reviews. Like anywhere he goes, he just goes and tries pizza.
Right.
I always just he says that everybody knows the rules. 1 bite. And then he takes like 4 bites and gives the pizza a rating.
Right.
But yeah, he came here to Emo's, to St. Louis, tried Emo's, and it just went okay. Okay, next question. Pick the next number.
48.
48. All right. What is the earliest book you remember?
Earliest book, probably Dr. Seuss.
Dr. Seuss.
No, let
Okay.
me take that back. I can even go back further than that. It was Curious George or it was Clifford the Big Red Dog, and I was in preschool.
Oh, okay. So some things just stay around for a while because,
Yes.
man, I can remember. Okay, next question.
82.
82. Come on, let's get a good one here. I don't even know. Is Hugh Grant funny?
No, I don't think he is. I mean, he is comical, but if we're talking in terms of make you laugh like a Robin Williams or
Yeah.
an Eddie Murphy, no, I don't think he is. But there's an element of people in suburbia that love that guy.
Yeah.
So,
Hey. All right, next one. That was what we've done.
that was 3.
Okay, that was 3. What's number 4?
Give me 100.
100. Oh, hey, Nick had this one.
He did?
Yeah. Pick any band to play at your funeral.
Oh, band to play at my funeral. Who would I pick? That's really a hard one there because I like
think
a
it's
lot.
such a weird question.
It really is,
It's
but
just total random. Whatever it is, I ask it.
I have a lot of love for music.
Yeah.
I mean, I can go all the way back to Kiss and Steve Miller, and I can go to Ted Nugent. I can go to old school hip hop. I really can't. Or I can go to the Temptations. I really can't
not
pinpoint one group that I
It's
can.
not like you'll
actually,
be there to enjoy it
right.
regardless.
I don't know. Let me think.
But it's got to be someone. It's got to be a band. It's got to have an answer.
I would have to probably say Mint Condition.
Mint Condition.
You don't even know who that is. I know.
Like,
I
right
know.
over my head.
Just because you're young.
never heard of it.
They've done a bunch of songs, and their drummer actually became their lead singer because the lead singer didn't show up one day, and the rest is history. They were probably one of the last R&B actual bands. They had singers. They played their own instruments, and I'm going to say that they were probably one of the last people to actually do it the old-fashioned way as opposed to just going straight digital.
Huh.
But, yeah, I like those guys.
Perfect. All right. Well, they're going to be at your funeral.
I don't know about it, but we'll hope.
Well, what's number 5? One
Number
more.
5, how about the last question?
The very last question. Let me get to it. This is exactly what Nick did as well. Yeah, this is which holiday song is your favorite?
Holiday song, which is my favorite. Let me think about that. I don't really have a favorite, but I think one of the funniest ones I like is the one that goes, "Oh, by gosh, by golly, it's time for mistletoe and holly."
Yeah.
I find that hilarious because that is so cheesy and gentrified,
Self.
and so everything's swell. Leave it to Beaver, type song. We're not.
I know that show. I
Oh no,
watched that
I
as a
know
kid.
Leave It to Beaver.
Okay.
That's my show there.
I asked this of Nick too whenever he got asked this question, but are you do you decorate a lot for Christmas at all?
Not anymore.
Okay. Yeah.
I used to, but my kids are grown and gone, so I have no desire.
When you did you decorate for Christmas before Thanksgiving?
No.
Good.
I normally would do it probably the weekend after Thanksgiving.
That's told. You can do it. You can do it the day after. I
Right.
don't even care if you do it the afternoon of Thanksgiving. Have to have Thanksgiving first.
It was cool, and it was bad for me because my birthday is the 4th of December. So depending on how well my mom had decorated and had the tree up, she might even have started putting presents under the tree. So when my birthday came up, she was like, "I'm not buying you anything for Christmas. Pick something from up under the tree, but don't pick the biggest one." It sucks. I wanted my birthday to be in like June so I can get a full birthday and a full Christmas.
Yeah.
But mine kind of got lumped in,
Everybody who's born around Christmas
Oh.
time, they all say that.
But my Christmases were wonderful as a
Yeah.
kid. Yeah, I just wish it wasn't in December.
yeah, man. Wait. When did you say your actual birthday was?
December 4th.
December 4th. I'm sorry, I missed your birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you. I didn't do anything. I was just happy to be alive, well, and comforting.
No, yeah. 70 is a big
Comforting
number.
environment. I just sat around. I hung out with my daughter and my granddaughter, and just enjoyed my day. It wasn't about going out and drinking or the party and the cake. I've done all that already.
Yeah.
So now it's just more about chilling and relaxing.
Yeah. No, making it to 70 is a big accomplishment.
70? Oh, you got
The
jokes?
big 7-0.
I'm 53 though, buddy. So what are you talking about? You got jokes over here. Horrible.
I'm just messing with you.
I know you are. Wait till the mic goes off.
Okay, well, I tell you what, I would love to keep going, but we got to pay for this podcast.
Gotcha.
Got to pay the bills. I think you've already been let in a little bit, but you get 30 seconds. So I did this with Lauren. I probably should have done it with Nick, but I'm going to give you 30 seconds to prepare, and then I'll give you 30 seconds best commercial for the company that you can do just right off the hand. Just has to be best commercial you can give. No pressure, but
Now, are we doing it commercial for people to get hired? Or are we doing it for the customer or people to call us to actually get work done?
whatever you want. So Nick did like for the customer, Lauren did to get hired. So we have one
I'm
of
following Nick, so I'm gonna
Okay,
do.
yeah,
I probably do customers.
that's perfect. Let me pull up the clock. I always pull up the calculator when I'm trying.
Hold on though. Are you giving me the 30 seconds to prep, or are you just gonna run right into it?
I'm getting ready to give you 30 seconds for prep. It's just gonna be to think,
Okay.
get it good. All right, your 30 seconds for prep starts now. All right,
Horrible.
prep time is over. Are you ready? I'm gonna hold the phone up here.
No, I'm not ready, but I'm gonna try it.
All right, here we go. 30 seconds starts now.
Okay, call Kennedy Painting for all of your painting needs. We offer a wide range of qualities and skilled painters to fulfill all of your interior and exterior needs. You get excellent customer service as well as personalized attention for your particular job. Call us. We're always available, and we don't quit until you tell us to leave. How's that?
That is perfect. That's perfect. You left 5 seconds, but for the quality of the commercial, that's perfect.
Okay. I wouldn't say perfect, but try.
No, that was good. I hope I never get put on the spot like that.
Oh, because that's, it's kind of weird because you're wondering, am I going to say the wrong thing?
Yeah.
Am I going to say the right thing?
Okay, yeah, we had to pay the bills there. Yeah, it's something, don't skip forward. But no. Brand of brush. What's your, I know some guys have different brands and things like that. Has it ever switched? What's your brand now? What's your favorite brand?
I like Worcester Silver Tips. They are very durable. They give me the lines I want. They're not stiff, but they're not soft either. They're in between. Corona and Purdy, they have good brushes as well, but I personally don't think I need to spend $20 or $30 on a brush to make me seem like I'm a better painter when I can get this desired effect. With Worcester Silver Tips, they've never done me wrong.
Yeah.
I've watched them forever and have them for months, and I don't know, I just like those better. I was using Purdy at first, like a 3-inch, and I would do baseboards and all that, and then I don't even remember when I used the silver tip for the first time, but when I did, I liked it. So I stayed with it, and I'm even to this day. You walk out to my truck right now, I know I have at least 15 brand new brushes, and about probably 10 that are washed and waiting to get used again. But I keep a lot, and they work for me.
Huh? Yeah. Do you have separate brushes for interior, exterior? Do you find I like a brush that can do both?
Right.
Can those?
I use all of my interior brushes for interior.
Yeah.
Until they started to fray a little bit. When they start frayed, they become exterior brushes.
Yeah, that's true. There are some.
And then after they, once they outlive their usefulness for that, then it become dust brushes and that kind of thing. But yeah, mine go through a process. I have certain ones that I typically use just for outside, but they're basically the old brushes.
Yeah.
And I'll keep my better ones for trim, cutting in baseboards or doing baseboards and cutting in tops of walls and that kind of thing. But yeah.
Huh? Do you ever lose any brushes to the freeze?
I'm always losing brushes. Some to oil.
Yeah.
You try to bring them back.
But like solely just because you just forget about it.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll wrap them in plastic and leave them in the car for 2 and 3 days. I've left a brush in a cut pot and left it in the back of my truck. The next day, got to work and was still able to use it.
Really?
And I didn't have it wrapped or anything, but it was the
Sometimes you
temperature
just
that it
get
was
lucky.
outside. And yeah, it was kind of cool. So the paint didn't dry out. And I picked the brush up. It was still, soft and pliable.
Good thing it wasn't winter. You just create a popsicle.
Oh, I've done that before too.
Yeah.
I think I've probably destroyed a brush in every way imaginable.
It's gonna happen. Out of the painting skills, there's a vast amount of just different skills for different things. But out of the painting skills, what do you think is the hardest to learn? Let's think about it in like the perspective of a newer person coming to the company. What's the hardest skill to learn? Maybe even the most valuable skill.
There's a few of them actually. Learning how to do baseboards is one, because most people when they start off they try to that line where the baseboard meets the wall, they try to get it in that little crease and try to ride that, and they don't understand that when you're doing baseboards, like I said, it's an illusion. You can go a little bit onto the wall. It just has to be straight. So as before, it might take me, say, 15 or 20 minutes to, say, paint that strip right there. Now I can do it in 5 minutes just because I know.
And that's why I
how
estimated
far.
at 5 minutes. I know that you can do it.
And then they think it's about your hand. It's not.
Yeah.
It's your arm. Once you get that angle correct the way you want to have the brush, you just slide your arm across, and that line's going to be there if you have a decent brush. And so, I would have to say that.
So that's skill one. What would the...
Another one would be learning how to cut the frame of the door after the walls have already been painted.
Okay, yeah, because sometimes that happens. Sometimes
You
you
know,
just have
now
to.
some people will paint the side trim first and then cut the wall back in. But if you don't have that option because maybe you're not painting the walls, there's a technique that you have to use in order to get that line straight and not have it bleed over onto the wall. It's not hard, but you have to think about it before you do it.
Yeah.
That's another one. 3, I see a lot of people who don't know how to paint doors. The sides, obviously, you go up and down, and then you have to look where the wood connects, across the top and the bottom, and keep that pattern there and keep that grain going the way that it's going. And it makes the door look so much better than having random brush marks all throughout it, and you got a grain in the wood, though.
Yeah, you can always tell when like a customer painted their door or something.
We can always tell.
Nothing bad on the customer. It's just you got to learn those things.
Oh, another thing is rolling. A lot of people that I've run in contact with, they either they overroll, basically. They don't keep the nap juicy, as I call it, and they don't understand how big of an area one complete roll of paint or dip of a paint nap should paint. And it's roughly, I'm going to say, about 2 feet wide. And you can probably get 7 feet up and down, but it's the way you do it. You start in the middle, you go up and down, and then you just smooth it out. Don't have any ropes and proceed on.
Yeah.
But I see people so often trying to paint 5 foot
Just
wide.
killing the nap. Just,
And you hear the nap over there.
what did it ever do to you?
Right. Leave me alone. Stop. So, yeah. And then it's weird when somebody will come in. I did this Indian lady's house. And the guy who was working with me, this was at Leicester, and he was rolling the hell out of the walls. And I forgot the actual word she used, but she said it in Hindi to the effect of it's not putting that much paint on the wall. And I understood what she was saying. And I told her, well, I was like, hey, dip that again and go back over that whole section. And then I told her, Shoma Kiji, which means, excuse me, in Hindi. And she looked at me. And she goes, you speak Hindi? I said, yes. She said, how do you know Hindi? I said, well, I used to be Indian, and I was killed in a train crash in Bombay. And I woke up a black man in America, and she died laughing. So ever since then, I've made it my point to try to learn the language of whoever I'm working with.
Yeah.
And I'm up to 9 so far, that I can
I said, never
speak a little
ceased. By far the most experienced person I know. Awesome. Well, I tell you what, we're kind of coming to the end here.
Right.
You listen to podcasts at all?
Yes, Joe
Okay.
Rogan and a few
Yeah.
others.
What would be your favorite podcast? Just one that you would like to
Probably
recommend?
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan? Yeah, man, that's a phenomenal podcast.
Yeah, I like him because he's a well-rounded guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's not just a mouthpiece on UFC. You know, he's done Fear Factor and a bunch of other things, but he's very opinionated, and he reminds me of that typical working class
Yeah.
New Yorker, down to earth kind of guy. You know,
Yeah.
some guy who, if you sat down and had a beer with him, you're gonna get a very intellectual conversation, and you can get a sportsy bromance kind of conversation out of him. You know, I like that.
Yeah, phenomenal podcast. I
Yes.
like, and I think how most people find him too is you're like searching somebody that you're kind of interested in, and then you find him on the Joe Rogan,
Right.
and then you get lost in this trail of Joe Rogan talks to.
He's
cave
talked to
diver,
everybody.
Everybody.
Didn't he talk to the Pope once?
I think
It's a joke.
probably. It would not surprise me.
That dude has talked to everybody on this show, and he doesn't bite his tongue,
Yeah.
and he is himself, whether he's talking to someone like a religious figure versus
Yeah.
a politician versus a sports athlete. You know, he doesn't care.
And I think that's what people. I think
Right,
that's what
be
people
yourself.
want. People want just somebody who's just not trying to be something that they're not. You know, he just talks, says it how it is.
Mm-hmm.
If people get upset, he doesn't care.
Right. Well, I think you should be the same way I am with my customers is the same way I am in my personal life. So
Yeah.
if me and you were hanging out wherever, and then you were to come to a family function of mine, I'm going to be the exact same guy
Yeah.
that I was when we were at work. And I think that when you try to put on airs and be artificial with people, like Californians can be,
Yeah.
then people notice that, and they don't, you know, they think you're being pretentious.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be like that. I want to be who I am, period. You know,
Yeah.
and I don't want to have to hold my breath or try to pretend to be a person that I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Well, Anthony, I had a really good feeling this was going to be like just a phenomenal episode, and has not disappointed whatsoever.
Well, thank you.
Hey, seriously, thank you for joining us.
Not a problem. I enjoyed it.
Okay, well, perfect. Hey guys, thank you for listening, and then Anthony, let's have a good handshake.
All righty.
Thank you, man.
Guess you guys can hear that handshake.
Yeah, it's
No,
good.
really. Thank you, man.
Good man
I had
shake.
fun. I had fun.